There is a moment in the year when the sky seems to hold its breath. Ancient mystics called it a gate, not of stone or wood, but of energy. A time when the sun aligns with Sirius and something deep inside us begins to stir. They called it the Lion's Gate. Most scroll past it, thinking it's just another date in a horoscope. But those who know, the monks, the initiates, the disciplined, understand this is not about stars. This is about alignment, not above, within. August 9th, full moon, peak of the Lion's Gate. But here's the truth. This isn't the universe gifting you magic. This is the universe asking if you're finally ready to take responsibility for the energy you carry. In Shaolin practice, we never wait for moments to change us. We train until we're ready to meet them. This video will guide you through that training. You'll learn why one ritual done with stillness, breath, and full awareness can shift more than hours of scattered manifestation techniques. You'll understand why monks value repetition over desire, and why your nervous system, not your wishes, is what determines your future. And there's one thing you must do before calling anything in. Most people skip this step. That's why their prayers echo but never land. Stay with me until the end, and I'll walk you through a deeper understanding of ritual, energy, and why this full moon is not just a moment, but a mirror. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. If you walk this path of inner strength, self-mastery, and sacred simplicity, subscribe now. This is not entertainment. This is training. When the moon rises full, it does not give, it reveals. This is something many forget. They see the moon as a wish granter, a celestial power to call upon. But in Shaolin wisdom, the full moon is not a moment to act. It is a moment to see. Long ago, my master would bring us out into the temple courtyard on full moon nights. No speeches, no rituals, just silence. He would say, "The moon shows you your own face, but only if the water is still." This meant the emotional body, your inner world, thoughts, memories, reactions, all of it. If your emotions are stirred, agitated, grasping, the moonlight only reflects your chaos, not your clarity. And any ritual you perform from that place becomes noise, empty movement, trying to force something real. That is why we trained our minds first. Before the chants, before the offerings, before the practice, we sat, we breathed, we observed. No one told us what to look for, because that's not how insight works. You must become quiet enough for your own truth to rise. On full moon nights, some monks would discover a hidden anger they thought they had buried. Others would weep for no reason they could name. Others would simply feel heavy, like the body was full of old dust. That is the gift of this moon. It reveals what you carry, not so you can escape it, but so you can face it, clear it, and walk lighter. Still your water, not with force, but with presence. No more fighting the mind. Just watch, just breathe, just return. Only then is the reflection true. Only then can the ritual begin. There's a reason monks wake before the sun, sweep the same steps, chant the same lines, and sit in the same silence day after day, year after year. It's not superstition, it's structure, a sacred rhythm carved into time. Ritual, in its truest form, isn't about objects or outcomes. It's not a shortcut to power. It's a way to shape the self. In the old temples, there were no elaborate ceremonies for outsiders to see. Just the quiet echo of footsteps at dawn. The same rope folded the same way. The same breath counted slowly, held lightly. Discipline was the doorway. Not to control life, but to stop being controlled by it. People today chase symbols, crystals, herbs, elaborate setups. But the monks knew the real altar is the body. The real incense is the breath. The real offering is your attention. Because here's the truth. Your nervous system remembers. When you repeat something with presence, it becomes a path. Walk it long enough, and it leads somewhere real. Not just peace, power, but not the kind that moves others. The kind that no longer needs to. There's nothing wrong with beautiful tools or meaningful objects. But without awareness, they're just decoration. Without discipline, they're just distraction. A ritual without presence is noise. But with presence, it becomes a doorway, a mirror that doesn't show who you are, but who you are becoming. That's why the ritual matters. Not because it changes the universe, because it changes you, slowly, quietly, from the inside out. A student once asked, "Why do my prayers go unanswered?" The master didn't speak. He simply filled a small cup with water, then he poured more, until it overflowed onto the floor. Still silent, he handed the dripping cup to the student. Only then did he say, "You ask for more, but you are already full." This is what most people don't understand about manifestation. You don't receive what you want, you receive what your system is ready to hold. Your nervous system, your emotional body, your breath, these are the vessels. And if they're tight, reactive, or overwhelmed, nothing new can stay for long. Shaolin training begins here. Before the movement, before the form, comes the stillness. We were taught to sit, not for 5 minutes, not to pass time, but to test the mind. 10 minutes of silence will show you everything, your resistance, your tension, your hunger for distraction. And if you can't sit with yourself for 10 minutes, how will you carry abundance, purpose, or power? Expansion doesn't come from effort, it comes from space. Breath by breath, the nervous system softens, presence deepens, control sharpens. Over time, the cup grows larger, not through force, but through surrender. The body learns to hold more. The mind learns to react less. The heart learns to stay open even in discomfort. This is the quiet work no one sees. The unseen training that prepares you to receive. Not because the universe was late, but because you finally became ready. Manifestation isn't granted, it's grown into. And the soil it grows from is silence. In the temple, there was a bell that only the master could ring. Not because others weren't allowed, but because they couldn't strike it without distortion. The bell demanded precision. If the hand was too tense, the sound cracked. If too soft, it faded. Only when the strike was clean did the bell release its full, clear tone, one that echoed through the valley. Energy works the same way, especially during a time like the Lion's Gate. This portal doesn't choose what to amplify. It simply amplifies. It takes the signal you're sending, your thoughts, your emotions, your inner state, and makes it louder, sharper, more magnetic. But most people are sending out noise, conflicted desires, buried fears, hurried thoughts scattered across 1,000 open tabs in the mind. They ask for peace while holding on to anger. They call for abundance while living in scarcity. The universe isn't confused, it's just responding to mixed signals. In Shaolin practice, we were taught to strip away everything unnecessary. One breath, one movement, one thought. Because when you bring your entire being into one clear line of intention, the energy becomes clean, focused, silent, but unmistakable. A single thought, held in stillness, has weight, not because it's loud, but because it's aligned. Like the master's bell, it rings true. You don't need more affirmations, you need fewer. You need one that's real, spoken from the deepest, quietest part of your being. Then silence. Let it move through you, not just from you. During Lion's Gate, let that be your practice. Fewer words, more awareness. Less wishing, more listening. The universe is not far. It's tuned to your frequency. The only question is, are you sending a signal worth amplifying? Every morning before sunrise, the monks would sweep the temple grounds, not just once, but over and over, until the paths were spotless. Not a single leaf was left behind. To an outsider, it might seem obsessive, just another chore. But to the monks, this act was not about dust. It was about energy. The broom was an extension of awareness. Each stroke was a meditation. Each cleared corner was a reminder. Clarity is cultivated, not wished for. In Shaolin teaching, the state of your surroundings reflects the state of your mind. A cluttered room is rarely just physical. It echoes something unsettled within, unfinished emotions, scattered intentions, residue from yesterday's chaos. That's why during powerful energetic portals like Lion's Gate, the instruction was simple, clean, not with rush, not as a task to check off, but with reverence, as ritual, as realignment. When you wipe a surface mindfully, you're not just removing dirt, you're signaling to life that you are clearing space for something new. You are telling the universe, I am ready, I am present, and I am not carrying yesterday into today. It doesn't matter how grand your ritual is, if your space is heavy with neglect, you can burn sage and light candles, but if your floor is covered in forgotten things, the energy remains stuck, and so do you. Clean to reset the field. Clean to reset the mind. Fold the blanket. Wipe the mirror. Open the windows. These are not small acts. They are declarations. They say, I value clarity. I choose presence. I am not waiting to be changed. I am preparing to meet change with grace. Because the way you treat your space is the way you treat your life. And energy always responds to respect. Before any form was taught, before a single movement was learned, the first lesson was always breath. The masters didn't speak much about it. They simply breathed, deep, steady, silent. Their presence alone shifted the entire atmosphere of the temple. You could feel it, like the air itself was listening. This was the foundation of all energy work. Not chanting, not wishing, not visualization, just breath. It sounds simple, almost too simple. But this is where the real work begins. Because most people aren't breathing, not fully, not consciously. Their breath is shallow, rushed, reactive, mirroring the pace of their minds. But breath is rhythm. Breath is alignment. It anchors you to the present moment, pulls your awareness out of thought and into the body. And that's where real power lives. During the Lion's Gate, energy is moving. Fast, intense, unfiltered. If you meet it with a scattered nervous system and ungrounded emotions, it can overwhelm you. But when you return to the breath, you return to flow, not resisting life, not chasing it, just riding the current with a steady center. Inhale with awareness, hold with stillness, exhale with surrender, do it again and again, until the mind softens, until your body starts to listen, until your energy, your focus, and your presence begin to line up with what you're calling in. Don't rush to ask for more. First, show the universe that you can hold what you already have. Master the inhale, master the exhale. That is the true beginning of every ritual, every transformation, every breakthrough. Breath is the doorway, always has been, always will be. Before the full moon, before any ceremony or sacred act, the temple would grow quiet, not just in sound, but in spirit. The monks would fast, not only from food, but from talking, from desires, from distractions. They knew that to receive anything of meaning, they first had to become empty. Emptiness was not seen as lack, it was preparation. It was space being cleared with reverence. In daily life, most people carry too much. Old thoughts, lingering fears, emotional residue from things long past. They step into rituals already full of expectations, tension, noise, and yet they ask for more peace, more clarity, more abundance. But how can more enter when nothing has been released? This is why monks begin with letting go, quietly, intentionally, sometimes with sweeping, sometimes with silence, sometimes with fire. There is an old practice, writing down what no longer serves you, a thought, a regret, a name, a pattern you're tired of repeating, then burning it, watching the flame take what you no longer wish to carry, not as a performance, as a release. The ashes become proof, not of destruction, but of readiness. If you approach Lion's Gate with full hands, clenched in need or control, nothing can enter. But if you come open, ready to receive without grasping, you make space for something real, something alive. Letting go is not always dramatic. Sometimes it's just a quiet decision to stop holding what hurts, to stop chasing what no longer fits. And in that space, something shifts. Not outside you, but within. The portal opens, not because the stars aligned, but because you did. Let go. Make room. That is the first ritual. Everything after is just echo. True strength never announces itself. In the Shaolin way, the most powerful warrior is often the quietest one in the room. Not because he's hiding, but because he no longer needs to prove. His presence speaks for him. His breath is steady, his eyes clear, his energy contained, not scattered. There is a stillness that comes from years of discipline, a kind of silence that isn't empty but full. This is the energy the monks cultivated, not for battle, but for life. The strength to remain unmoved in chaos, to act only when necessary, to let presence, not noise, do the talking. The full moon calls many to speak, to ask, to declare, but in ancient practice the full moon was not a time to shout into the heavens. It was a time to become quiet enough to hear the whisper beneath your thoughts, the truth behind your wants, the signal beneath the static. Lionsgate opens a powerful channel, but it does not respond to desperation. It doesn't answer performance. It listens to alignment, to inner calm, to those who have trained themselves to hold power without chasing it. Stillness is not weakness. It is control. It is depth. It is the discipline of a mind that doesn't need to constantly move to feel alive. You don't need to convince the universe of your worth. You don't need to yell your affirmations into the sky. The more still you become, the clearer the signal, the deeper the resonance. Anchor within. Let your energy speak louder than your voice. The ones who carry true power don't need to demand. They become what they seek. And in that becoming, everything finds its way to them, without force, without noise, just presence, just truth. In the monastery, there was no separation between the sacred and the simple. The way you swept the floor, the way you drank your tea, the way you bowed to the morning light, all of it was practice, not performance, not ceremony, just presence. Ritual wasn't saved for special days. It was folded into every moment. This is the heart of Shaolin mastery. It's not built in grand awakenings or rare alignments. It's built in repetition, in devotion to the ordinary, in how you meet each breath, each task, each interaction, with care or without. People wait for portals, for signs, for full moons and stargates and sacred hours. And yes, these moments have power. August 9th is one of them. A reset, a chance to step back into alignment, but it's not meant to carry you for the rest of the year. It's a doorway, not a destination. The real magic happens the morning after, when no one's watching, when the moon has faded and the sky is quiet again. What do you choose then? That's your true ritual. Light a candle if it helps. Say a prayer if it moves you. But don't forget the way you wake up, the way you speak, the way you listen, the way you care for your space. That's the altar. That's the offering. Mastery isn't marked by how intensely you show up once. It's marked by how consistently you show up always. Not perfectly, but honestly, fully. Let August 9th remind you, but let every day refine you. The sacred is not far. It's not hidden. It's in how you live. Let your life be the ritual. Let your presence be the prayer. The Lionsgate full moon isn't something that happens outside you. It's something that responds to what's already happening within. This moment isn't about chasing energy. It's about becoming clear enough to meet it, calm enough to hold it, aligned enough to guide it. Everything you've heard today points back to one truth. The ritual isn't separate from your life. It is your life, in how you breathe, how you let go, how you pay attention. This is where real manifestation begins, not in asking for more, but in becoming the kind of vessel that can hold more. So as this portal reaches its peak, use it. But don't use it to wish. Use it to realign. Use it to clear space, to return to what matters, not just tonight, but in every quiet moment that follows. May your steps be steady. May your breath be deep. And may your presence be your power. If this teaching spoke to something in you, like this video and share it with someone who walks the same path. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire, where every word is a return to self-mastery, clarity, and the ancient rhythm of truth.